Hi, Bruce Johnson, President and founder of Wired to Grow. And today I want to talk to you about the 4 musts of scaling any business. Now, have you ever tried to solve a jigsaw puzzle without the box top? If you have, then you know what I'm talking about. It's very frustrating. You got a bunch of pieces, you're trying to figure out where they all go, but you just don't know exactly because you don't know what you're shooting for. Well, that same thing happens in business all the time. People don't know exactly what they're shooting for. And frequently in business, people use words that they really don't understand. For example, if you were to go ask somebody today who's a business owner or entrepreneur, what does it mean to scale up? They would probably have a hard time. In fact, if you were to stop and pause this video right now and you were to write out, this is what scaling up means, how would you do? If you're like most business owners and entrepreneurs, chances are you'd probably struggle. So right now, you don't have the box top. You don't know exactly what it's supposed to look like to build a scalable business. Well, I want to remove all of that frustration from you today. From this point forward, you're going to know that there are 4 musts that have to be a part of your business if you want to build a scalable business. So what are they? Here we go. The first must is that a scalable business must be a systematized business, period. If your business isn't systematized, it can't scale, right? If you're trying to bring in a bunch of new people, and right now all the intellectual property resides in somebody's head, let's just call her Mary, and Mary leaves, or Mary decides to move to a different area of the country, or if Mary gets sick, or Mary's on vacation, well then you're in trouble because no one else knows what Mary does, right? So if something exists right now in a person's head and isn't in a system, then you're in trouble. You can't scale up quickly because right now it's dependent on this person who may or may not be there. In addition, when you're scaling up, you need to be able to bring talent in quickly and get them productive fast. If something isn't systematized right now, then you put somebody in a position, then they've got to kind of figure it out. It takes them 3, 6, 9, 12 months to figure it out. Well, you can't scale. Well, that person's trying to figure stuff out. It just doesn't work that way. So if you want to build a scalable business, even though it's not sexy, even though it's not really cool, you have to build a business that is completely and totally systematized in order to scale up. So how are you doing? What percentage of your business right now is systematized? 10%, 15%, 30%, 45%, 75%? What percentage? If you want to build a scalable business, the entire business has to be systematized, every part of it. Marketing, sales, delivery, customer service, every part of it has to be systematized in order to keep going like this. So that's number 1. The first must has to be systematized. The second must is it has to be designed and built to grow fast. Designed and built to grow fast. The average company in America is flatlined or in decline. Not good. Those that are growing, most of them are growing at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6% per year. Again, that's not really scaling up. That's growth, minor growth, but it's really not scaling up. The companies that are scaling up are companies that are trying to grow at 25%, 30%, 50%, 100%, 400% per year. So they're designed to grow fast. If your business isn't designed to grow fast and then it's not built to accomplish that design, then you're in trouble. So if your business model isn't scalable, you can't scale. If your strategy isn't trying to grow rapidly, then you're not going to scale. You have to design it and then you have to build it to be able to grow fast. So as you're looking at your business right now, are you now shooting for 5 or 10% growth? Or are you shooting for 25 or 50% or 100% or 200%? And then once you define what that scale up is, then you need to make sure that you're building everything behind it to be able to deliver on that, right? So you can invest the ad revenue to be able to get enough customers and lead flow to be able to scale up or not. Either you are or you aren't. So that's number 2. So it's systematized, it's designed and built to grow fast, and then thirdly, it has to be able to handle that growth well, right? It does you no good to invest a boatload of money to get a bunch of new customers in and then you can't deliver, right? That doesn't work. So you have to be able to handle that well. If it takes money, and it always does, to grow fast, and you don't have enough cash, then it doesn't make any difference because now you're broke. So you spend a lot of money to get a bunch of people in, but it's sucking cash, and now you can't pay bills, you can't pay your employees, everything falls apart. So when you're designing your business to grow fast, you have to design in such a way that you're anticipating what's required on a capacity level. Usually the big 3 are people, cash, and technology. There are other things, but those are usually the big 3. If you're not anticipating and putting those things in place before demand so that you have the capacity to keep scaling, you won't scale. So how are you doing? Are you hiring people ahead of demand? Are you training them? Are you bringing in more talented people that can handle a higher demand? Are you bringing in and developing a cash conversion cycle so that you have enough cash to be able to handle that growth? Do you have the technology in place to be able to handle now 1,000 customers instead of 100, or 10,000 instead of 1,000, or 100,000 instead of 10,000? Are you anticipating and building that capacity ahead of demand or not? That's number 3. So it's systematized, it's designed and built to grow fast, it's able to handle that growth well, and then the 4th must is that it has to be able to produce and deliver a consistent, predictable result to your customers. Now, if you get a bunch of new people in and all of a sudden 10%, 20%, 40% of them aren't happy, then you're in major trouble, right? Because you spent a lot of money to get them in, but now they're no longer buying more, they're not buying more frequently, and they're not giving you word of mouth. Now, the beauty about word of mouth, right? Because if you have a great experience, your customers are getting the result they want in increasing amounts, they start telling other people. When they start telling other people, then your cost of client acquisition goes way down. When your cost of client acquisition goes down, that means your profits go up. That means you now have more cash, and now that you have more cash, the virtuous cycle is you can invest more in growth. So you want, in a scalable company, for your revenue to go this way and your cost structure to go this way so your margin increases, so therefore you can take more of that margin and extra cash and come back here and fuel more growth. That's the beauty of building a scalable business. So as you're looking at it, are your customers happy 100% of the time? Right? If you, let's say, had a restaurant and you had 100 customers come in and 100 walked out loving it, then people are starting to spread word of mouth. All of a sudden you're starting to scale up. Now you're maybe at 200 or 300 people per night. Well, if 20% of those people aren't happy, guess what? They tell 20 other friends. Now your growth was going like this, now it's down here, now it starts shrinking. You have to make sure, if you want to build a scalable business, that everyone who uses your product or your service is having a great experience. So that's what it means to build a scalable business. So how are you doing? If you want to build a scalable business, use this definition to kind of guide you. You want to make sure it's systematized, it's designed and built to grow fast, it is able to handle that growth well, and it produces a consistent, predictable result for your customers. Now that you know the box top, now you have some marching orders this year. So what are you going to do this year to systematize more of your business? Maybe your marketing isn't systematized. Start there. Maybe your sales isn't systematized. Maybe your customer services. Pick some things that need to be systematized and start working on it. You don't have to get it all done, right? You build this thing in flight. That's what we keep saying here at BizScalers. And then secondly, you're going to say, are we designing this and building it to grow fast? So maybe we've been at 10%. Well, this year, let's go at 25%, or maybe we're going to go at 30 or 35 or 50%, right? Now you're designing it. You're changing your business model. Now you're putting in the plans in place to be able to accomplish that kind of growth rate. And then thirdly, you're going to say, okay, this year we need to be able to handle that growth well. So we need to anticipate demand ahead of time. So we're going to start hiring some people before they're required. And we're going to now stockpile some cash, and we're going to change our AR processes so now we get cash coming back faster, right? You're going to make some changes so you can handle that growth well. And then finally, then you're going to keep looking and say, okay, how can we deliver a more consistent and predictable result for our customers based on the fact that now we're going to have more of them. Now we're going to have 2x or 3x or 5x more customers. How do we make sure that every single one of them has a great experience? And if you work on those 4 things, you'll work on the 4 musts of scalability. And if you work on the 4 musts of scalability, you will build a very scalable business. Now, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. And now you not only understand what a scalable business is, you know how to begin to develop a growth plan for that. But I hope you'll pass this on to some other business owners and entrepreneurs so they can know about the 4 musts of scaling as well. If you haven't subscribed now to our new YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking the button below and also letting us checking the notification thing. And then finally, make sure you keep coming back to this channel, because this is my commitment to you in a free way to help you build a more scalable version of your business so that you can actually scale up, which is what you want to accomplish. Well, until our next video, to your accelerated success, Bruce out.